The Eagles are the champions again! The ECHL concludes its 30th anniversary season with an epic Kelly Cup Final Series. We'll check out the highlights and hear from both teams. 2018-19 is not that far away, and whether it's new coaches or affiliations, teams are already starting working toward their goal being the ECHL's next King of the Hill. This special expanded season-ending edition of ECHL Week starts now!
Hi, welcome to another edition of ECHL Week. This time we come to you from Estero, Florida, the Germain Arena, as we wrap up the 2017-18 season with the awarding of the Kelly Cup. So let's take a look at the final game of the season, the one which gave the Colorado Eagles their second consecutive Kelly Cup championship.
Big hit delivered on St. Amant in front of the Everblades bench. Puck cleared back down, Scurry again, Smallman cutting, coming in close, shot! Face-off taken left side, Blades win it. Back to the blue line, stripped away, and a chance here for Jolie. Breakaway chance, charging in, backhander scores. Roofed it, top shelf. 2-on-1, could be a 3-on-1. Garbowski cutting in, drop past St. Amant, broken up by McKenzie. Great play there by the Blades, and now a 2-on-1. Charging in, warning, across, scores! Hammered in on the backside! And Florida will get back after it once more. Up the board, softly hit out though, and held in by Colorado. Now the puck to Kafani, skip and they'll score! Off the boards, the Blades don't get a bounce there, the Eagles do. Off the stick of McCauley, Eagles have it now, they break back 3-on-2, short-handed. St. Amant, left side circle, shot, they'll score! For pass, puts it in for the tally.
Seconds remaining, near side, Kirkpatrick will fire it in. Hops behind the cage, 4 seconds, blistered up off the wall. Quick shot, deflects into the corner, shot, save! Colorado will exit the ECHL as back-to-back Kelly Cup champions!
The Eagles are leaving the ECHL on top. Colorado, which will be competing in the American Hockey League next season, is just the second team to win back-to-back Kelly Cup titles in the 22 years during which that trophy has been awarded to the ECHL's champion. Special teams, which played a significant role throughout the title series, made the difference in Game 7. The winning goal, scored by Gabriel Verpass late in the third period, was the Eagles' third shorthanded score of the series against the top point-producing team in the regular season. It was just the 5th final series Game 7 in the 30-year history of the ECHL, and only the second to be decided by one goal.
The Kelly Cup has been awarded. Let's hear from some of the winners.
Tired, but couldn't be more proud. It was made it as long as it goes, and it doesn't feel any better than winning Game 7 in the finals there.
Oh, that's awesome. I think everybody just gave it their all, and this was our ultimate goal at the end of the year, and there's no better feeling. It's awesome.
I think it goes throughout that locker room and the organization, the resiliency that they showed. I mean, you come down to a Game 7, yes, it could go either way, but I think what this team did is remarkable. You know, coming off the last season, it's a long, grueling haul to do it back-to-back, and they got it done.
At the start of the season, I had a lot of fans asking me whether I thought we were going to win again. And you know what? I avoided that question, but here's your answer right here.
Just proud of our guys. I mean, the league's only gotten better and faster, and you know, we played right up to that level, and you know, we won 2 Game 7s in the playoffs and had some big come from behinds, and that takes a lot of heart, and it just makes us all more proud.
And we had a special group this year, which I'm going to remember for a long time.
It's one of those things that, you know, you're in the moment and you're watching that game, and we're down 1, and it just again goes to show the group of players that we had in that locker room. They just always found a way. They rose to the challenge. Every time they were down, there was never any doubt, and here we are on top of the mountain once again.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we've had so many talks this year, and I told you this is a moment you'll never forget. And I thank you for all your hard work this year. Without you guys and your commitment and support, and trust in one another, we wouldn't be standing here. We wouldn't have that trophy right there. Thank you.
Of course, in addition to knowing who wins the Kelly Cup playoffs, there's also the question of who is named the MVP of the postseason.
Colorado's Michael Joly, who led the ECHL with 41 goals in just 52 games in the regular season, capped off his dream year with a Kelly Cup and the ECHL's Most Valuable Player in the Playoffs award. His 13 goals was tops during the postseason, and his 29 points was 7 more than the second highest total.
I feel awesome. I think, you know, we could give MVP to a lot of players in our team. I think Joe Canada did a hell of a job. If he wasn't with us, I think we wouldn't be here right now. You know, we came back as a team, and, you know, it's well deserved for all the team and the coaching staff. Way to go, boys.
News from around the league, and lots of it, when ECHL Week continues.
Please, oh.
The running of the bold dogs? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Aaliyah saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
It's already a busy offseason. Info about a new coach leads off our news from around the ECHL.
The Wheeling Nailers have named Mark Dennehy as their head coach and director of hockey operations. He's the 17th head coach in team history. Dennehy makes the jump from college hockey to the professional ranks after serving as the head coach of Merrimack College for 13 years. He collected 161 wins during his tenure there. Pittsburgh Penguins assistant general manager Bill Guerin said, "Mark is very well regarded within the hockey community. He did a superb job rebuilding the program at Merrimack College. I've known Mark for 30 years. He'll bring that same work ethic and desire to win and develop quality young talent to the Wheeling Nailers." Head coach Robbie Fatorik has signed a 2-year contract to remain with the Norfolk Admirals through the 2019-20 season. The coming year will be Fatorik's second full season with the Ads, who were 26, 39, 6, and 1 last year. The longtime National Hockey League and World Hockey Association player spent 6 seasons and coached over 400 games in the NHL with the Los Angeles Kings, New Jersey Devils, and Boston Bruins. He also has 663 AHL games on his coaching resume and is one of only 2 coaches to ever win the AHL Coach of the Year award in consecutive seasons. Fatorik said, "It's good to be back in Norfolk. Hopefully we will be able to take these guys and help develop them and their careers while winning games." The Manchester Monarchs have been busy in June. They lost one coach and have already replaced him. Gone is Rich Seeley, who was tapped by the Los Angeles Kings to take over as general manager of the Ontario reign of the American Hockey League. The new head coach and general manager of the Monarchs is Doug Christensen, who spent the last 4 seasons as director of player development and recruitment for the United States Hockey League. Prior to that, Christensen spent 7 seasons as a head coach and director of hockey operations for 3 elite league teams in the United Kingdom. Longtime fans may remember him as he played with 5 ECHL teams during his 8-year playing career. His best season was 2005-06, in which he recorded 35 goals and 64 points in 63 games with the Reading Royals. Put the Atlanta Gladiators in the category of teams looking for a coach. Chuck Weber will not return as head coach and general manager of hockey operations. He's accepted a coaching position at a Division I NCAA school. Switching to the college ranks is something I've been looking at for a number of years, and the timing was right to make the change, said Weber. Not only will this be a new challenge for myself after 19 years in professional hockey, but it will add a stability for me and my family, which is hard to get in the pro game. Weber led the team back to the playoffs after a 4-season absence before falling to the Eastern Conference champion Florida Everblades in the South Division semifinals. The school in which Weber has accepted his new position has yet to be announced. In an unrelated announcement, Assistant coach Brady Leisenring will also not return for the upcoming season with the Gladiators, as he has accepted a new position at a sports facility in Springfield, Virginia. The Indy Fuel has a coaching staff. The team has agreed to one-year contract extensions with head coach and VP of Hockey Operations Bernie John, along with assistant coach Ryan McGinnis. John will return for his third full season as the Fuel's head coach, while McGinnis will begin his second season in Indianapolis. John returns after leading the Fuel to the best regular season in its history, coaching his team to a 36-35-1 record and the club's first ever appearance in the Kelly Cup playoffs. And the Orlando Solar Bears have announced that the club has agreed to part ways with associate coach John Snowden. Snowden joined the Solar Bears prior to the 2015-16 season as the fourth assistant coach in team history after concluding an 11-year playing career, and was eventually elevated to the associate coach role prior to the start of last season. The Adirondack Thunder have announced a one-year affiliation agreement extension with the New Jersey Devils and Binghamton Devils for the 2018-19 season. The Devils first became the Thunder's NHL affiliate on August 8, 2017. Over 3 seasons of working together, the partnership between New Jersey and Adirondack has seen 8 players from the New Jersey system spend time in Glens Falls. The agreement also has seen 9 Thunder contracted players sign tryout deals in the AHL with the Binghamton Devils and Albany Devils over the past 3 seasons. The Worcester Railers have extended their affiliation agreement with the NHL's New York Islanders. Worcester and the AHL's Bridgeport Sound Tigers will continue to serve as the minor league affiliates for the Islanders. It's a 2-year extension of that deal. 10 players spent time with both the Railers and Bridgeport last season. The Tulsa Oilers and NHL's St. Louis Blues will continue their affiliation agreement through next season. The deal allows the Blues to designate prospects under NHL or American Hockey League contracts to Tulsa. St. Louis AHL affiliate is the San Antonio Rampage beginning next season. 4 St. Louis prospects spent a significant amount of time in Tulsa last season, including forward Connor Bleakley, who was named an ECHL All-Star before finishing the season in San Antonio. The Kansas City Mavericks have renewed their affiliation with the NHL's Calgary Flames and AHL's Stockton Heat. The new agreement brings the partnership into its second season. Kansas City saw 6 players from within the Flames organization in 2017-18. The ECHL's newest team, the Newfoundland Growlers, have checked another item off their to-do list. They have signed a 3-year affiliation agreement with the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs and the AHL's Toronto Marlies. The deal ends the 5-year relationship between the Toronto clubs and the Orlando Solar Bears, who are in the market for a new NHL partner. 10 players appeared for both the Calder Cup champ Marlies and Solar Bears this season. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the ownership group of the Leafs, will be responsible for filling the Growlers' vacancies on the coaching, medical, and equipment staffs. Newfoundland is the 5th ECHL team with which the Leafs have been affiliated. The ECHL has announced its Board of Governors has unanimously approved the appointment of Ryan Creelan to succeed Brian McKenna as commissioner of the league. The transition will occur during the off-season, and Creelan will assume the duties as the commissioner and treasurer prior to the 2018-19 campaign.
The search committee, the executive committee, our full board of governors, I think spent a lot of time on this over the past several months, going through the interview process, finally settled on Ryan Creelan, and I think, in my opinion, he's the best suited candidate for the job. He's been with the league now for 13 years in various levels of responsibility. He understands the people in the league, he knows the governors, he knows the presidents of the team, has, I think, a very good understanding of where the league needs to go in the future, and he's got a plan put in place in terms of how that's going to happen.
Creelan said, "As we look to the future, I believe we can further our development role within the hockey landscape for the NHL and AHL, while continuing to offer our devoted fans quality entertainment within the many communities we serve. It is with great pleasure that I get to work with the people of the ECHL as we embark on year number 31 and beyond." And when Washington captured its first Stanley Cup earlier this month, Capitals center Jay Beagle made history. He became the first player to ever win the Stanley Cup, Calder Cup, and Kelly Cup during his career. His Kelly Cup title came with the Idaho Steelheads in 2007, and he won 2 American Hockey League crowns with Hershey in 2009 and 2010.
A look back at highlights from the early games of the Kelly Cup Finals is next on ECHL Week.
This season's Kelly Cup Finals was among the most memorable of all time. Let's take a look at the highlights of the earlier games of the series.
The Eagles rode a wave of momentum from their Western Conference Game 7 overtime victory against Fort Wayne right into the start of the Kelly Cup Finals. ECHL Defenseman of the Year Matt Register's shot from the center point made it through traffic and beat Florida goaltender Martin Ouellette, while Colorado was enjoying the first power play of the series. Then, with less than a minute left in the first period, Colorado doubled its lead when Drayson Bowman shed 2 Florida defenders and got off a wrist shot from the left side faceoff circle, which beat Ouellette. Power plays and lead changes were notable in Game 2, but an outstanding last-minute individual effort was the difference as Florida tied the series. The game-winning goal was all Mitchell Hurd, and it came with 36 seconds left in the third period. Florida's regular season scoring leader stole the puck while at the offensive left wing half boards, fought off one Eagle defender, skated to the net, went around another defender, moved to the far side of the goal, and lifted a backhand shot over Colorado goaltender Joe Canada for his 7th goal of the playoffs. When the Eagles obtained the rights to center Ryan Olsen from the Utah Grizzlies in February, they were hopeful he'd make a difference. And if averaging over a point a game the rest of the regular season wasn't enough, in Game 3, Olsen made that deal look really good. The Delta, British Columbia native, scored the game-tying goal in the third period and the game winner in overtime to help the Eagles to a 5-4 victory and 2-1 series lead. Trailing 4-3 midway through the third period, Colorado was pushing the pace and controlling the play when Olsen smacked a puck out of the air and into the net from the top of the crease. The officials met for a minute or so debating about whether Olsen's stick was above the crossbar when he made contact. The goal was ruled to be legal, and it set the stage for more dramatics for the 2012 Winnipeg Jets draft pick. About 7 minutes into the extra session, Julian Nantel slid a pass into the low slot where Olsen steered the puck past Ouellette to give Colorado the victory. The Eagles improved to 7-1 in overtime in this year's playoffs. That's an ECHL record for the most overtime wins in one postseason. Quite simply, this was one of the most memorable games in Kelly Cup Finals history. Florida took a 2-goal lead on first-period goals by Justin Kia and Stephen McCauley. But midway through the second period, Matt Register and Matt Garbowski scored for Colorado in just over 2 minutes to tie the game. The Everblades' response was swift. With a goal from Joe Cox and 2 from Mitchell Hurd in the final 8.5 minutes of the period, Florida retook the lead and then made it 6-2 when Steven Lorentz scored a minute into the final period. The rough play and fighting, which had started in the second period, boiled over into the third. Midway through the third period, Cliff Watson's power play goal pulled Colorado to within 6-3. At the time, that seemed to be inconsequential. It wasn't. A few minutes later, the Eagles scored 3 straight goals in the space of 1 minute 14 seconds, an ECHL Finals record, all on the power play, and in the blink of an eye, the crowd of nearly 7,000 at Germain Arena was very quiet. Florida got the last laugh when 8.5 minutes into overtime, Gus Young scored this goal to give his team an incredible victory. Some 130 penalty minutes translated into Colorado going 5 for 9 on the man advantage. That tied a 21-year-old record for power play goals in an ECHL Finals game. Despite that, the Everblades tied the series. Any momentum generated from Florida's Game 4 victory seemed to carry over to Game 5. McCauley's first-period goal put the Everblades in the lead for good. Michael Kirkpatrick, returning to the lineup after a Game 1 injury, added a goal and an assist, and Ouellette made 24 saves to record his first Kelly Cup playoff shutout. Brett Bulmer added 3 assists as the Blades took a 3-2 series lead. The Eagles set up the dramatic Game 7 with a convincing 4-2 win at home in Game 6. Colorado got off to a quick start when Ryan Harrison collected a rebound at the top of the goal crease and put it into the net about 4.5 minutes into the game. The Everblades responded 3 minutes later when Joe Cox grabbed a Colorado turnover, raced down the ice, and beat Eagles goalie Canada. But Colorado went back in front to stay in the final minute of the opening period. Michael Jolie capitalized on a turnover at the Florida blue line and scored on the ensuing breakaway. The Eagles doubled their lead midway through the second period. Jake Marteau skated between the face-off circles and got off a backhander from the low slot which found its way into the net. In the latter stages of the third period, with Ouellette pulled in favor of an extra attacker, Jolie shot the puck from his own blue line into the vacated net to give his team a 4-1 lead.
some of the Eastern Conference champion Florida Everblades straight ahead on ECHL Week.
If you feel that passion is just a start, if you think practice is never over, if you believe speed limits are just for highways, and Saturday mornings aren't made for cartoons, if you try, fail, learn, laugh, repeat, compete, respect, and unite, then you belong on our team. Join now at team.ccmhockey.com.
Of course, some team has to finish second. Let's hear it for the team that ended up on the short end of the Kelly Cup Finals.
The Florida Everblades, by all accounts, had an outstanding year. Brabham Cup champs for most points in the regular season, and Ginger Trophy winners as the Eastern Conference's best. But they fell one victory short of their ultimate goal.
We're all still hurting. Our expectations we're pretty high, and we fell a little short. So we're still all trying to gather our thoughts and emotions, and we're also starting to reflect on what an amazing season it was. Just the success, the records we were able to set was something that rarely happens.
I think we played solid the whole season, the whole playoffs. Every single guy in there bought in. Every guy played their heart out. And it just kind of boils down to, it's kind of unfair sometimes, but I think every guy in there is going to be successful in whatever they do in life. And yeah, I speak on behalf of everyone right now. It really sucks, but we're all proud of each other.
Our team, from top to bottom, we had no bad eggs. Coaching staff, fans, everything, the whole city, supporting us all the way down to the wire, Game 7 in the finals. But from a locker room standpoint, definitely one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in. Everybody was respectful of each other and respectful of the wives and girlfriends away from the rink and the community away from the rink. Just every aspect was great, besides not clinching the cup.
A lot of things went right to get to this point, so we had a great season. I think we lost. I think we just ran out of time. They scored in the third, and you give us an extra 5 more minutes, we're going to tie out the game.
My first 2 years, we made playoffs and exited in the first couple rounds. First couple years, and then making it all the way there, Game 7. It's crazy. It's like I still can't believe it, but it's definitely hard, and I think all the guys know that now, and it's definitely going to be a motivator for years to come.
I think we did a lot of things well. It's right there. It's a one-goal hockey game. That's sports. What are you going to do? You've seen it throughout the years. It's just sports, being sports, and but I mean, every single guy in there cares about each other, and it's an amazing group. Probably the best year of my life for hockey. So it stings, but you just got to be proud and hold your head high.
So we're still we're still dealing with the emotional loss of not getting it done in that third period, but we have so much to be proud of, and I think as time moves on here, the success we had, the friendships we've made, it's one of those rare years that doesn't happen very often.
By the time next season starts, Brian McKenna, who's been commissioner of the ECHL for more than half of the league's life, will have moved on. At the end of his final season in the position, we asked him to speak about devoting so much of his working life to the league and about what accomplishment he's most proud.
When you've been in one position for 16 years, it's a big part of your life, a big part of your career. There's a lot about the ECHL that I love, including like tonight where we're at a Kelly Cup Finals game. Being in the building, being part of that excitement, seeing the fans' reaction, certainly that's something from the hockey perspective that I'll miss moving forward. Miss a lot of the people in the league as well, both at our league office, the folks that I've worked with here for many years. and a lot of friends I think we've developed at the team level as well. So all that will be missed, but life goes on. League's in a good place, and I think very well positioned for the future. In terms of things that I'm proud of, as I said many times, I think the number of players, officials, front office people that have gone on to bigger and better things in hockey. Certainly if the league has played some small role in that, that's certainly something that I take a lot of pride in.
That wraps up the 6th season of ECHL Week from Estero, Florida, along with Commissioner Emeritus Patrick J. Kelly and the cup which bears his name. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on all our social media channels all summer long. We've got a lot of them, and you need to follow them because there's a lot going on in the ECHL all through the summer. See you next time.
As is our custom at the end of the season, we wrap up this ECHL Week with a look at some special sights and memories for the 2018 Kelly Cup Finals. There's no question that the 30th anniversary season of the ECHL was special, and no doubt there are even better things to come.